Hey, what's up? Welcome back, everybody. Today there's some stuff moving, a few things going on. So futures looks on the MES looks like a buy on the hourly, but when you zoom out to the overall, the weekly, we're kind of high. It's a high position here, and then the daily looks extremely high. So yeah, if you're new to trading, you kind of start on the weekly and see what the overall trend of the market is. So it does look overall like it's pointing up on the MACD and the buyer sentiment, but RSI is also kind of high. And as you come down, it looks like the daily is probably going to come down. So that prediction for me would be that the daily is probably going to try to pull back at least closer to this average line. And you can even, sometimes I like to grab a line and just sort of match it up with this line. So if it continued the same direction, right, this would be your average, somewhere like that. And this is going to want to come back and touch this line. So if it's time, I mean, you got an X and a Y axis here, right? So it could be time that it just stays the same price, and over time it meets this line, or it dives down on a quicker time scale and then meets this line faster. So one of two things that it might come back and meet that trend. So that's what we're kind of looking at. That's the only reason that when I go to the hourly, I'm not super interested in buying this, even though you could, if I wanted to sit here at the desk, I could buy that and then sell it right here. Probably make $50 or something. Uh, but I just think that this is an overall negative. So to be honest, the outlook that you would want right here would be yesterday at this point right here, probably 66 ish. You would look at the daily and say, okay, this looks like it's coming down, coming down. Where's the peak? Go to the hourly and then say, oh, look, it's peaked right now. Yesterday in the evening, about 7 o'clock. So after 6, when futures opened back up, right about here, said, I might want to short that. So that would have been a good time to short that and ride this one down. I wasn't on last night at 6 o'clock, so we're kind of ignoring that. If it did that again up to here, then I would be interested in the short, but not super interested in the buy long here because it might not come up past average. It might hit this average line and continue to go down because of this overbought condition. So that's kind of how I read this. If I wanted to sit here for a while, yeah, I could buy it at 71.60, something like this, and then try to get rid of it at 71.80. That's pretty good volatility. I guess that's a 20-point ride. So on one micro, that's $100. So yeah, it's better than nothing. Another thing is we missed probably, and this would have been hard to grab, but there's three good buy points back here that you had one here. And this kind of goes back to what I was just saying. Like the overall was sort of starting to be, on the high RSI, this is the I need to sell side. So it was already up here on the high RSI. So to be buying up here, you're kind of risking more. But if you go to the hourly, if you are willing to risk more and you don't mind either going negative on a position or just selling while you're in the negative and losing some money, then you could do it this way. You would see this right here coming down on, this was 3 o'clock, April 21st. and put a buy in. Now, whenever it starts climbing, this doesn't happen often, but you could say, oh, this was my low here. And since this was a low here, this was a good buy here, then if it ever hits that again, this will also be a good buy for me because of this overall bullish market. And just find that somewhere around the 71.06, 71.10 mark, or 71.10. You could just say, oh, that was a good buy for me back here. Let me just put in another buy at 71.10, which would look something like this. Boom. Yes. There you go. And guess what? Even though this is way up here, when this random massive sell-off happened, it would have probably, you have a pretty good chance of that grabbing your order. And then you would have woke up the next morning and this would have been, what, 50 points, 60 points above where you bought it at. So even though you're like, oh, this probably won't grab, let me just put it in here to see if it happens. You could wake up the next morning and it could be a 60-point rise. So, so it happened once, twice, 3 times. Because this happened 3 times, I actually went ahead and put in a buy here a couple days ago just to see in case this right here happened again and did a fourth, whatever's causing this massive sell-off here, here, and here, and it's rebounding right back. You have orders there, then you're in the order book. That could be your contract that it grabs, and whenever your contract gets bought, boom, then you're going up with it. So another thing, ooh, there's GD. So I'll get off of this topic for a little bit. I'm actually going to remove that because I think it's going to come down much farther. A few more things that's been going on. General Dynamics is pretty low, so that's why you saw that General Dynamics purchase. I got out of Amazon here, if you remember, and it kept going, which is fine. You don't always get the perfect out, right? You might lose a few dollars here, but or I should say not gain as much as you could have, but that's okay. We got out a little early. That's fine. I had 2 NVIDIAs sell this morning. I just went ahead and put them sell at market because I was in this sell circle. We bounced off the top of the trend. We're coming back down a little bit. I just got rid of 2. I just feel like that's safe. I would like to probably get rid of more. I might go ahead and trail 205. I'm getting Robinhood notifications. Visa earnings coming up. Robinhood earnings coming up. So yeah, let's trail like 205, which is about $7. So we'll do 2 more. Okay, so we have a trail here. What I was talking about in the last video is that this doesn't really look like that great of a sell for me, but it honestly is going a little bit to the downside. So if you got out up here, you could buy it back $5 cheaper, something like that. This is kind of what I was talking about. If it's within this little, let's try to make it parallel with the trend. Okay. And then say like from there to here. So like there's this middle area of the trend where I'm not extremely interested in getting rid of it yet. Like if we're below this lower channel, then you're definitely interested in buying. And then if you're above this upper channel, you're definitely interested in selling. And then if it's kind of playing around within this channel, yeah, you can try to like do some quick buys and sells, but if you're just sold right here and then it just says whoop and bounce up, then you're kind of you got out early and you're not really waiting for the big profit. So with something small like only 7 shares of this, I don't really see the point of getting out of this much. Now, if I had 20 shares and I put in a smaller percentage to get rid of, like get rid of 2 or 5 shares, I might do that here, because if it continues up, then you're still with it. But um, if I got out, say 5 shares right here, and it continued, and I only had 2 shares, well, I'm not even in the trade. It's not even making me any money at that point. And although if it came down and I grabbed them again, then we would be doing better. So it's kind of a mental process of like, what's it going to be worth for me to trade within this channel when it could be when I'm already trading this overall picture here. So this blue channel is just something I kind of keep in my mind. Don't really need to be trading Apple right now. I only have 7. I am interested in buying 5 down here. My buy 5 is at 245, so which it's at the bottoms of both of these. I honestly need to put that at like 255 because it needs to be within that. I'd like it to get hit. I'd like to make this purchase before it reaches this all-time, because it might not reach this low again. It might just come right before the low, and if it does, I want to have 5 more of those. I'm happy to get in right here on those 5 that I did the other day, because it's such a great dividend on Pfizer. I sold 2 of these this morning up here. I mean, I had a stop loss here. They took because it's dropping down. You can see the snake right here. This is like a mean looking snake, bearish condition right here forming. So that being said, I'd like to get rid of those, and then if it continues to go back down to here, then I'm interested. About the halfway point is kind of the golden zone, if you know about Fibonacci trace and where the golden zone is. That's kind of where that's at. So I could talk about that in another video, but roughly the 50% of the previous run, it looks, I mean, that's going to be a really good buy, especially in an overall bullish condition. So you got 5 more in the golden zone. Visa is like slowly climbing again, and I just got a notification that they have earnings report later today, so I'd be interested to see if this pops back up. That would be nice. Starts doing a bull run again. I can delete these old signals. These were old convergence where these converge here and here. This one's already false. This one could be it looks like we're pushing later in the timeline, and it could be this one that it's going to converge with, but if it's bullish, which Visa is due a bull run for sure, because Visa is overall an uptrend, and it's just been struggling. Let's move me out of the way. It's just been struggling since spring of last year. So it's been like a whole year of Visa just dropping. So we're looking for a rebound on that for sure. I think Eli Lilly is looking good. Eli Lilly is right in the, I'm going to put my cursor in the middle of the trend between these 2 white lines. So right out here. So it's below average of the trend line. That's why I have a buy circle down here. You can see, I think this support line used to be at the bottom, so it's moving up. I'm going to go ahead and buy that right now. It's on the daily, we're down here. RSI is 37, so we're in the 30s. We'll just buy 1 more. We like the price. Market is 874, way just right in the middle of my buy circle. So we're going to buy that. The market has pretty much recovered since the start of the Iran attack and stuff like that. So um, everything that we were calling a correction is already pretty much topped out again. And since the recoup of the market and everything has come back up, I've sold a bunch. So my margin is back into my buying power. I don't have as much borrowed. I'm only maybe 10 to 15% of my margin is used, so I'm pretty low on my margin usage right now. So that means that I can afford to buy good deals. So whenever I see Eli Lilly down here in my green circle, I can just um, spend a little bit more on my margin on good deals like this, so that it can. There's just the odds are with this that it's going to be going up before long. So typically my margin isn't held for an entire year. It's, this trend is an uptrend. This is on the lower of that trend. So in 3 to 4 months, it's probably going to be up from that. So this seems like a good deal for me down here. We can open this up and put it like this. This is an extremely good deal for me, and the odds of it being above here in like 3 months' time is great. 874. I can do this calculation for you real quick. 875 times 5%. This would cost, if you borrowed this amount, 874 from Robinhood, if you have gold, so at 5%, we would borrow 875 at 5%. It'd be $43.75 if you held it the entire year. Divide that by 360. We use 360 in trading interest because we just don't do 365 because there's certain holidays and stuff that the market is shut down. So it's divided by 360, and that's going to give you your daily cost, which is 12 cents. So 12 cents a day is what I'm going to borrow this at, and yeah, for a few months or whatever, times that by 3 months, which is 90 days, that's $10. So I can borrow this one stock right here for $10, and 3 months from now, it's probably going to be up. It could be up $50, could be up whatever. So whatever the difference is, you're profiting. And a lot of these are even have a dividend that's kind of canceling that out. So they don't have a great dividend. It's 0.72. So it's a little bit of that dividend is going to be paying you back, but not a whole lot. These are fairly expensive. I'm not interested in having more than maybe 5 of these. So we're at 3. We might, if it continues to hit this bottom trend, we might do 2 more, one here and one here. But I'm not overly interested in getting more than that on Big Pharma. Berkshire is still looking like a good deal. It's 52-week low. So yeah, I'm buying these for sure. Gold is another one that I think I want to afford right now because it's as low as it's been since January. So I went ahead and bought one there. Brings me up to 16, and then if it continues, I'll buy another. RSI's at 40, so yeah, we hit this lower RSI, I'll buy another and another, and we'll work this up to 20 shares. But I don't want to be just overly bought on gold either, so we'll put one down here. If I zoom this out, it should show you. There we go. 417. So this is where we're at, and I just put another one down here. So we'll slowly be getting more and more. This is a good deal on gold. It's great. So there's no reason not to be in on that. Hood has been hurting. If you held on to International Seaways, good for you. Still going up. I had stop losses in all within this area, so I'm completely out. But yeah, they are at 5.43% dividend. So yeah, International Seaways is they're paying you more than the cost of what it takes to borrow, more than the cost of margin. So if you're borrowing for this, that's probably a good deal. It's just looking a little high for me, so that's the reason I had stop losses there. It's higher than the trend. So it peaked once, it's doing it again, but it's also had big fall offs. So I'm just sort of weary about the fall off, and I don't want to be in it heavily just because it has a good dividend and then it be worth less. So that's why I'm just kind of watching it from the sidelines right now. But I was in long all the way up until it reached the top of my trend, and then I'm no longer in long with them. ITDG, I don't know if this is a great decision, but I'm selling some of my IVV and S&P. Market just looks like it's fully recovered, and it's at the top of this trend, and I don't really know where it's going from here. You see a lot of like seller sentiment up in here around the 40 mark, the same as it did up here, so it's higher than it was before. And I think I would just rather just get out a little bit, and then in case we reach another low price down here to get it back at. So I sold 25 within this up here, and then went ahead and put a 25 buy down here. So if it dips, we'll get back in at a little bit of a lower price. But again, here's the bear snake right here. Very bearish look right here on the daily chart. So this is showing me symbols of we're going to be going down. So that's why I'm out of that a little bit more. Oh, Alta Networks is we finally breached our buy point here. So this is my buy signal at the bottom of this trend that was beautifully bullish, and grabbed a bunch right here, which a bunch is basically my max. And I've kind of been capping my stuff at 5,000 so I don't get in too heavy. So I'm pretty much at 5,000 here, and it kept going down. We're finally back to break even, which is good. So I'm not anywhere interested in selling at this high RSI yet, but what we want to do is get back into this trend, back into this previous sell area here, and then when we get high again, we can make a sell circle for like compared to the previous highs, which is over here, all these highs right here. We want to be at least up into there before I'm looking at selling. So this is going to go through a cycle of up, then down, and we want price action to exceed these charts. So we want these numbers to grow higher at the tops, and then it might go to a low RSI again and then back up before you have to give it time to recoup. So we finally recouped. We'll see where it goes from there. I would say this price that I'm in at 182 is very, if you look at this overall, just look at all of this trading volume and then put your cursor right in the middle of it. I'd say we're very in the middle of all the volume. It's a very good average line. So we're still very average, and I want it to be up here before we're interested in selling. So I see Royal Caribbean probably taking off when it's cruising season again. You would think it'd be pretty soon. It already did once this year, which was in February, but it'll probably happen again. And even if it's peaking like this in February, then imagine what the next peak will be. I assume that's 340 right there, not even at the very top. So I'd say 340 is definitely achievable. That's a good amount of profit, and I'm only in 43. Yeah, I'm capped pretty much in Royal, so we're just waiting for that to turn. Tesla is very much middle of the road. You can take these bars and extend to the right all the way. So I like to hit extend to the right, and then there you go. You got an infinite right arrow right here that's going to keep going. So then you can set your buy circle right on it, just like that. You know, have an imaginary channel here in the middle, and then this is where I want to be. So I mean, this where I'm at, $3.99 is pretty much a good deal because it's right in the middle of this trend, and we're below a good deal. So it's, I would say that's an even better deal. Let's go to the top. Let's split this up. We're going to go to the top of the buy circle and put 2. So we'll go here and buy 2. We are 3,000 in. We'll do 2 there, and then we'll make this 2 down here. So we split up our 4. We have 2 and 2, and we could even raise this to the middle of the buy circle so that it's more likely that it takes. So that's what looks like a pretty good plan for me. Be in 2 more if it continues down, be in 2 more. If it rejects this bottom, then we're profiting. So I like that plan. And that's pretty much it for today's video. Just wanted to go over some of the changes that's going on and a little bit of predicting what's about to be happening. Few sales that we're making, and hopefully you can get ready for this. Hopefully you can either be participating in these shorts up here and making some money off this next fall, or be getting ready for some more buys down in this area in the 7,000 range. So please keep following along for more tips and tricks. Hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll catch you on the next one.